your forecast first. Sponsored by Matex Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
Well, we've got a couple of showers and storms trying to develop here once again into portions of Ford and Iroquois County. A little bit of rain here. Don't expect anything severe, but we definitely have a few showers that are around. Let's take a look at temperatures. Pretty warm out there again today. Mid-80s, 84 in Champaign, 85 in Springfield, but factor in the humidity, and yeah, it feels more like the 90s. More of that heat coming your way here by the end of the week. Through this evening, though, partly cloudy skies with, again, an isolated storm possible. We'll talk more about that when we come back. WCIA 3 News starts right now.
Now on WCIA 3 News.
As cases of COVID-19 creep up, Governor Pritzker warns he could clamp down. Which corners of Illinois are seeing a resurgence of the coronavirus?
A police chief was accused of misconduct at a Black Lives Matter protest. What the village board has ruled.
Almost any name you can come up with, you can find a derogatory slang to referring to it.
One Native American says a Central Illinois high school should keep its mascot. We'll tell you why.
You're watching your local news leader. This is WCIA 3 News at 6.
But our numbers now appear to be gradually rising, and that's very concerning.
Especially near St. Louis, where the rate of COVID-19 infections continues to rise. Good evening, I'm Jennifer Roscoe. Governor Pritzker blamed that on people who refuse to wear a mask in public, and he called on local leaders to take action before the state has to. Our Capitol Bureau Chief Mark Maxwell is live in Springfield tonight. Mark, the numbers show Metro East is inching closer and closer to the trigger that could send them backwards.
And Jennifer, that's important because public health experts say that sustained increase, those are the conditions that are just right for Illinois to go where we are now, a pretty low positivity rate up to Arizona's numbers, that exponential explosion of cases. That's, of course, what we don't want to see. So Governor Pritzker has divided the state up into these 11 different regions, and that's the corner of Illinois right now, Metro East, where the governor has said for the second day in a row, people traveling across the border to and from work or to go into St. Louis may be at higher risk of infection there. He says if you're going across the border, definitely wear a mask. Of course, do that here anyways. In central Illinois, our numbers look a lot better, especially in the Champaign and Macon County, Vermilion County. The positivity rate there, best in the state, just above 2%. In Springfield and Christian counties in Region 3, we have seen 7 days of increase, but just a slight uptick, still low, just about 3.3% positivity rate. Today, at a COVID-19 press conference, an update, Governor Pritzker had some very strong words for people he called virus deniers.
Choosing to go out in public without a mask is not a political statement. There's nothing political about that. It demonstrates a callous disregard for the people in your community and in your county and in our state and our nation. The enemy is not your mask. If you're not wearing a mask in public, you're endangering everyone around you. So the enemy is you.
Some strong condemnation from Governor Pritzker as he preaches personal responsibility. And again, cities and towns, local governments can impose tougher or stricter restrictions to try and clamp down on the coronavirus before the state gets involved. And the governor has encouraged different places to do that. Earlier this week, we saw Chicago do something similar where the mayor there, Lori Lightfoot, cracked down on bars or taverns. If they don't serve food, she said you can't serve alcohol inside or indoors anymore. You only can do it on curbside pickup or delivery or having people sitting outside. That's one example of ways the state could roll back, not all the way to phase 3 where we were, but portions of the economy or different industries that might be a hot spot. Those would be the places to garner the state's first focus and attention in trying to limit this from swinging back upward after we've bent the curve. Jennifer?
All right, Mark, thank you so much. Now let's take a look at the numbers specifically for central Illinois. We're talking about the positivity rate. It has gone up just a fraction in both regions. Region 6, that's the eastern part of the state from Macon County over. They've got a rate of 2.4%. That's up just 0.2% since the 18th. In Region 3, that's the west side of central Illinois, that's at 3.3%. That is up 0.1. There are almost 1,600 new cases in the state. That's the highest number since June 2nd. That makes it 165,000 total. 23 more people have died for a total of more than 7,300. We have new information. The governor also announced today the eviction moratorium in place because of the pandemic has been extended. It will now go until August 22nd. 2 programs were put in place to help those with housing problems, one for renters and one for homeowners. Each program distributed $150 million. Another Goodwill store in central Illinois closed down temporarily because of COVID exposure. The store on Wabash Avenue in Springfield closed today after a worker tested positive. Goodwill says it's working with the health department to follow guidance. They don't have a reopening day just yet. The Illinois State Rifle Association is suing Illinois State Police over FOID card delays. The suit wants to keep ISP to their 30-day deadline for issuing licenses. In June alone, state police got more than 60,000 applications for FOID cards. That's compared to under 30,000 in June last year. ISP says the increase and lasting effects of the budget battle from the Rauner years are the reasons for the backlog. We have new details tonight after a Central Illinois police chief was cleared of wrongdoing. He was accused of misconduct at a protest. One of the organizers sent a detailed complaint to the Mahomet Village Board. It says the chief there, Mike Metzler, intimidated protesters. It also says he didn't wear a mask, which compromised their safety. The protest, which happened 2 weeks ago, was organized by Pain to Peace. That's based in Champaign. Organizers feel they should have been a part of the meeting to review the complaint, instead of the village board making the decision on their own.
If we're going to have a truthful investigation and we're going to find things to then spread out information, let's actually be at the table and have these discussions, because no one asked Justin Hendricks about what happened and how I felt when I was touched and provoked by the officer and the chief of police multiple times.
Village President Sean Widener didn't want to talk on camera, but he wrote a statement in defense of the board's decision. He says he believes most of the tension at the protest was because of, quote, confusion and simple miscommunication. He added some of that was also because the protest organizer was 20 minutes late. Taylorville police have identified 7 people after a school was broken into and damaged. Here's the security video of several of them walking through the West School building. Police say they caused major damage. Late this afternoon, the department posted a thank you to everyone who helped find those responsible. That included some parents who brought in their kids who were involved. We have a follow-up from Sangamon County. People are still looking for answers after a teacher was fired in New Berlin last month. Now, the Illinois Education Association is backing the former union leader. WCIA3's Andy Olson is live in our newsroom. So, Andy, what has the school district said about his firing?
Well, Jennifer, going back to school board meeting minutes in December, they say Joe Kindred was being investigated for student records violations. The IEA did its own investigation, though, and based on the findings, they don't think Kindred did anything wrong.
We believe that Joe's termination was unlawful. That is why we will file an unfair labor practice charge with the Illinois Education Labor Relations Board against the New Berlin School District on Joe's behalf.
New Berlin school board members voted to fire Joe Kindred last month. He was a tenured teacher and also the baseball coach. Many parents and other teachers say the board has yet to offer a reason that he should have been fired. The board also suspended the current New Berlin Education Association president in the same meeting. The IEA won't discuss what it found in its own investigation into Kindred's firing, but decided to work with Kindred to file the unfair labor practice charge because they say his firing was unlawful. The IEA, teachers, and parents hope the situation can be resolved by bringing him back.
We are stronger when we are united. We support our members, and we support Joe and the NBEA.
Kindred is not making any public statements because of the impending suit. I reached out to New Berlin Superintendent Joe Larson, who has not responded at this time. Live in the newsroom, Andy Olson, WCIA3, your local news leader.
Andy, thank you so much. Flooding has been a problem for years in some parts of Champaign. What the city is doing to dry it up, also tonight.
Native Americans really are, we're a minority that's getting forgotten.
For the time being, Sullivan will remain the Redskins, and why that's perfectly okay with someone who excelled in the uniform.
And we are watching to the north. You can see the clouds on the Roofing Dog INET Bratcher weather camera looking up towards Ford County in the Gibson City area. That's a little bit of rain up that way. Recap today, 85, right on the money for what is normal for this time of the year. Okay, so chances of rain. We'll talk about that, how the humidity is back, and when it may feel like 100 degrees again coming up.